Welcome back, everybody, to a brand new episode of Over the Top Talk, where I bring on fighters from all across the world. I kind of have a short chat with them, learn about them, and with no further ado, welcome onto the channel, Mr. Charles Jourdain from the UFC's bantamweight division. How are you doing today, man?
Good. Thank you for having me. Like we said earlier, I went online and I said, should I do it? They said yes. So people seem to like you. Let's do it.
Perfect, man. And yeah, like I said, I was just messaging guys yesterday, I think it was, and I saw your name pop up. I know you're very popular over in Canada, and I saw your last fight, very good one. And I saw also on Instagram you got a fight coming up that obviously you can't say who you're fighting, but um, that's kind of my first question. And what's because you're kind of about to start a fight camp, so what's the first thing that you work on when you start a fight camp?
Well, I've been training since I was 14. So 14, 15. So this is my life. Like there's no off camp or camp on, camp off. When it comes to camp, it's not we start training. It's because it's becoming a little bit more specific in terms of sparring partner. But now we're still very far from the date. It's going to be late April. Unfortunately, I cannot disclose any information
Yeah.
yet, which would have been very fun to do so on your show. But like we said, until UFC release any statement regarding the fight, we need to be a little bit quiet. But I do said he was an homosexual, which narrow it down. Even though in the top 15 in the bantamweight, there's many, like there's O'Malley and plenty of guys. So yeah, when it comes to camp, I train all the time. I stay in shape. You see those enormous bicep of a 35er. So I'm always training. So um, the only thing that switched was a little bit of sparring. I need to find the guys who are a little bit tricky in their approach.
Yeah, man. Who would you say is maybe your least favorite bantamweight in that division right now?
Any sort of wrestler, I think they make it boring. Any decision machine like Merab would be out of that because he has a tendency to finish people. A little bit
Yeah.
of decision, but when you fight to the top, of course you're fighting the best, so it's hard to finish them. But any like even Umar got a his last fight was disgusting with Figueredo,
Yeah.
but like he had some good finishes. The Raoni Barcelos finish was impressive. So, but any guy who's tall, like the Yadong and O'Malley fight, was quite unfortunate for people. We expected fireworks, and it was just playing tag, like touch and move. Which I'm a big fan of putting Corey Sanhagen against O'Malley. That would be a tricky fight, but I would be afraid it would be another game of tag. But
Yeah.
yeah, so wrestlers and tag fighters are the boring ones, but it's a fight game.
Yeah, and I know you also have a brother in the UFC as well.
Yes.
How does it feel to have a family member that also does the same thing as you?
Well, it proved that talent is not everything. Like we were both from the same family, same training regiment, and most of the time they say the possibility of you joining the UFC is already very, very low. But we proved that there was no talent; it was just hard work. So anybody watching this telling themselves, "Well, I'm not talented," well, all the top fighters aren't that talented. There's some specific guys who worked with talent and of course hard work, but if me and my brother can do it, two little kids from Quebec, like other than George, Quebec was nothing, you know? So that being said, we had the George as a great example, which is, in my opinion, one of the greatest fighter of all time. Why? Because of all the steroid implication with the other two that I would put up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that being said, hard work beats talent, and by being two brothers, same blood, same everything, same training regiment, we join. It's all a matter of work.
Yeah, and obviously every time you step into that octagon, you're representing Canada. How important is it to represent your homeland when you're stepping into an octagon with an opponent?
Well, it's not. Like the country is taking off, fucking off my money, and
Yeah.
it's a shit show over here. I'm more of a Quebecois than I'm Canadian, and I know the UFC staff didn't like that last time because
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, we're Team Canada." I'm like, "Fuck you guys." There's no Team Canada. It's me. I represent myself, and I happens to be Canadian, but everything's going on in the world. let's not politicize this conversation, but I need to make the point that I'm representing myself. I have my boat, La Piraterie. I have a big pirate tattoo on the back. And what it means by that is I'm working for my own freedom, my own independence from being a slave. Let's put it that way.
Perfect, man. And kind of when you're watching as like a fan, who would you say you're a fan of watching right now?
I'm a OG. Let's go OG. So my
Yep.
favorite fighters to watch were Anderson Silva, Jose Aldo, Anthony Perez, and Donald Cerrone. Like those striker, all different source of striking, form of striking. But man, these guys were just beautiful to watch. Like let's say Anderson Silva. We had the guy who touched the dogs. Izzy. The Izzy
Is
was
he?
like
Yep.
a cup, but there's not heart. Art. ART. Sorry, we have a tendency in Canada to say ha before any word. So Izzy was very cool. I love his striking flow, but there was nobody like Anderson Silva back in the days, like
Yep.
slipping, moving up, down, and weight. There was nobody who was doing that, accepting last minute fight. He accepted a last minute fight against Stephen Bonner at UFC 153 and broke his sternum with a knee. Like there was so many fantastic performances from Anderson Silva. So yeah, in terms of striking and art, that was the man.
And yeah, kind of sticking on that topic, who's your favorite UFC trash talker of all time? Because I know there's a lot of them.
Nate was fun. Nate was cool because no, he had good response and he was calm. It's anybody who's sticking to themselves, anybody who's trying to be like Connor. You're just annoying. People have a sixth sense when it comes to seeing someone who's trying to fake it. If you try to fake it on stage, it's cringe, it's corny, it's
Yeah.
so annoying. So when I see guys even repeating lines of Connor, I'm like, man, are you dumb? You look like a bot. Like you look so fake right now. But yeah, I enjoy people who it comes from the heart, and I feel like Connor and Nate were the pinnacle of that.
Awesome. And I know you fighters don't really get a choice of where you fight. Sometimes you might, but if you could fight on any card anywhere in the world, where would you want to fight?
Japan or China. I did Korea once, and the people there were so fantastic. The food, the culture, everything was just beautiful over there. Clean cities, respectful people. It's any even Mongolia. Mongolia would be amazing to go there. But yeah, anything far.
And if you could train with any fighter, maybe past or present, who would you want to train with?
Anthony Pettis or Donald Cerrone. That would be my top two. Like these guys are gangsters. Like the way they fought, the how much blood they left in the cage. It's just so cool. Anthony Pettis had like a little swagger to him when he beat Benson Henderson with a non-bar in front of his crowd in Milwaukee. There was so many legendary. It's actually unfortunate that these guys weren't in the era right now because they would be superstars with social media.
Yeah.
The way that they fought, like they came, like they both went out when the transition, ESPN was starting, everything, social media was taking a big way up. But these guys, you need to be an OG to remember these two.
Yeah. And what is your maybe favorite part about being a part of the UFC?
Oh, it's everything that they do for us. I know people are complaining about pay, but it keeps you hungry. It keeps you wanting more. It keeps you ready to perform. And they give us like sport psychologists. They give us nutritionists, supplements. When you go to the PI, like most of these guys, it became a little bit weird because there's so many people there, but they give you everything like for free. Of course, we're an athlete from the UFC. It's not free, but they take care of you like crazy. Every time you go to the PI in Vegas or any UFC gym, they will give you anything, meals. accommodations. Like the UFC is quite generous, and one thing we need to take into consideration is it's very important to be respectful towards the staff. Now we just saw that they were cutting a lot of Russians from coming in, but got
Yeah.
Russian. Let's say more Dagestanis and people like that, because from my experience, they're all very annoying towards the staff. They don't respect. Like one guy didn't want to talk because the woman, he was a woman at the front desk. He's like, "Yo, you're in America, brother. Like you're not in Dagestan." So there's some certain boundaries that we've and unfortunate situation that we've assisted. It was right in front of us, and you're like, dude, it's like, let's say if I go to Korea, I need to adapt myself to Korean way of doing things. I don't want to implement myself whatever religion, whatever ways of doing things. But yeah, that being said, it's very important to be respectful towards the staff because they're very nice, they work hard, and they make sure you're fed, you have roof, and they make sure like your social media grows. They're very, very uh, properly implicated in the fighter's life.
Yeah, and you're obviously I think the third or fourth fighter I've had on since the new Paramount deal you guys are under. How do you feel about the new uh, 25K per finish now? Because I know in your last fight you had a pretty quick finish. So how do you feel about these new little incentives the UFC is adding for you guys?
Yeah, out of my 16 or 17 victories, I have two decision win. I finish people. I'm a finisher. So yeah, now that we have this 25 Gs and plus I have four bonuses. Imagine if these would have been 100K. But yes, it
Yeah,
motivates people. It's great. It's great. And but people still complain. You go on
yeah.
X and people are like, "Oh, it's finally time. It should be more." And they double. It's perfect. People are going to be hungrier than ever and try to take these bonus. So thank you, Dana White, for making.
Perfect. And um, let's see, who's been kind of your toughest opponent you faced so far in your career? Would you say? I think your mic's being Charles.
Thank you. Sorry, I pressed
Yeah,
on
you're
it.
good.
Yeah, the only answer is Jean. Jean Silva was a maniac. The way like he's barking at some point, and I'm like, the fuck is wrong with this guy? He's acoustic next level. But no, it was super nice after the fight. Crying. He's like he felt sorry. I'm like, hey, dude, don't feel sorry. If I could do the same to you, I would do the same. So uh, very very cool guy and very strong, very disconnected from let's say the reality of him. He could get clipped. Like he doesn't think about that. He fights
Yep.
in a way with so much aggressiveness and presence that it was I'm actually very happy that I faced him because I've learned like it's not just about your technicality, it's about how you present yourself in the cage. And now being a big 35er makes all the difference. I can feel I have much more aura coming into the fight. So when they say if you lose, you have the ability to learn from it. Well, I've learned uh, drastically when I lost my last loss to Jean Silva.
Perfect. And what's your favorite thing to do when you're not like actively training?
Traveling, bringing my family to vacation. Of course, it's a cheesy response, but that's the truth. My job is to bring my wife and my kid to places around the world, and her job is to make memories out of it. So we accomplished that properly. We just went to Italy, we went to Switzerland, we're traveling and we're making sure we create enough memories to be like, okay, when we're on our deathbed we can say it was a fun ride.
Yeah, man, that's always awesome to hear. And I always have to ask this, but if you weren't a fighter, what do you think that you would be doing right now?
You know what? With all the thing they put in the water, if I was not a fighter and I would have stick to the matrix of I would be a depressed construction worker, probably fat and lazy. If I didn't have this coach who told me, seriously, you're gonna stick around with these dudes who aren't gonna be anything, or you're going to join the gym and take your life seriously and just try to be a fighter and understand that anything in life needs to be fought for. Like, life is not a gift. Well, mine wasn't. So that being said, he told me it's very important that you understand that anything worthwhile needs to be fought for, and if you want to fight for it, you need to be strong and take your life seriously and put everything into order. So that man really changed my life, because I see guys from my school, from my high school. I remember losing one time, and they were all online. He's not that cool anymore. Ha ha, fuck him. And I'm like, fuck you guys. I went to Paris, I lost, and they were like super happy about it. I'm like, you motherfuckers. I would be one like you, and you never wanted me to shine or to accomplish stuff. Anyway, that not saying that I put all my mind onto it, but it's important to understand that if I didn't have this coach or this mentality or these people that are in the gym grinding and getting stronger physically and mentally, I would be a loser. I would be another Quebec loser complaining online. So I'm very glad that I found the Warriors path.
Perfect, man. And what's your favorite music to listen to maybe when you're working out or doing like a sparring session, anything like that? What do you jam to?
I really like. Have you ever seen Blade? You look young. Have you ever seen the movie Blade?
I think I have, yes.
Do you? Did you?
Kind of
It's
depends. I,
well,
I I have seen a lot of
basically
things.
it's Wesley Snipe, and he's a vampire hunter, and there's a scene where he's on a underground club with vampire gut people everywhere, and he's just slicing them up. It's a bloodbath, and it's like this techno song, and that was before the rave became a cool thing, where it was more like an underground dark rave with more god people than let's say those rave where everybody goes and I take drugs and have fun and ha 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 and in lingerie. So any sort of music like that, club where there's like a big music, violent music, and any John Wick, I always enter into a John Wick music when it comes to enter the UFC octagon. I like John Wick's music. The guy's name is Castlevania. The music is just violent, and I feel like I'm going to murder someone while trying until the referee saves his life. So makes a proper mood for fighting.
Awesome. And kind of last couple I got, but what's the kind of the hardest part maybe about living the fighter lifestyle?
Knock on wood, it's injury. I never had like drastic injury, neck, elbow pop, shoulder dislocated, knee dislocated. Like I never had any of these. I'm why? Because I feel like in training I accept some position. Like if you're trying to chest pressure me and I feel like my knee's gonna buckle if I fight for it, I don't care. I'm not gonna fight a position. I'll accept that I fall down. But I think a lot of ego fighters have seems to be injuring themselves a lot, and I don't have that. I don't mind getting beat in the gym by a good wrestler or a good jujitsu guy. If you take me in an arm bar, I'm not gonna break my arm trying to get out. You got me. I made a mistake. Like I'm not. It's like, oh, what do I do when I'm in a triangle? It's like there was 7 steps before you got into that position. So so if I get into a triangle and the guy, I'm not gonna try to break my arm or break anything and try to get out. So injuries are the most dangerous aspect of martial art. Knock on wood, I don't have any. And yeah, be careful with your health, because that's the only thing that's going to keep you going and getting paid.
Perfect. And kind of last thing I got for you today, Charles.
Please.
What's your favorite city that you've traveled to because of fighting?
Busan in Korea. It was a beautiful city. People were nice, quite respectful. Everything was clean. The interaction with the Korean people was just very amazing. And I knocked out Duo Choi in Korea, and he was supposed to destroy me. They were throwing me to the lamb, and I knocked him out in front of his crowd. And there was no boo, no stuff thrown. People, it was just pure, no noise. And I had a fun anecdote. Well, let's finish on that. It's going to be interesting. So me, I have this American Canadian mentality that, well, I just beat the hometown hero. And when I beat him, I remember it was like 3 a.m. and I'm like, oh, I'll go get some Doritos at the little market. So I get out and I see a bunch of Korean guys, like all black, and they look at me. I'm like, you know what? I'm in a small alley. There's nobody except these 10 guys. And then I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you know what? It was a fantastic night. Knocked out the hometown hero. I don't have any kids back then. I don't have nothing. I have just my wife waiting for me at home. But I'm like, you know what? If I'm about to die, I'll bring some of these motherfuckers with me.
Mhm.
So I turn around and I'm like, what's up? And they're like, are you Charles Jourdain? I'm like, yeah. What do you want? It's like, oh, can we take picture? And I was like, yeah. And then they were guys were super cool. And yeah, we were eating chips and taking selfies, and they were live like on their social media. I don't know what it was. And we were just chilling. So yeah, that was a fun time because I was like, man, I'm getting killed in an alley in Busan. But yeah, finally the guys were just a bunch of fans. So fun interaction, fun time.
Perfect. And I always like to end with, where can the people watching or listening find you on social medias?
Well, I'm almost at a million follower in terms of all the platforms. If you want to follow me on X, it's more like X is actually the hardest social media to get attraction, because you need to be very. You can blur it if I say retarded, but man, if you
Yeah.
if you go full R, you can get big on Twitter. But yeah, me, I like Instagram. You have the Instagram Charles Jourdain. You have TikTok. I'm quite popular on TikTok because I make these breakdowns of fight. YouTube, I'm more English. No, excuse me, I'm more French. But now we're gonna start making like camps vlogs in English for you guys, for everybody to enjoy, because most of my followers are mainly from England, US, and Australia. I have less fans from France and from Quebec because here the sports is not that popular yet. But so yeah, if you want to see more of my dumbass face, go online and enjoy it.
Perfect. And for everyone watching, I'll find his links, put them right down below. Make sure to follow us on it's Over the Top Talk. We're on Instagram, Twitter right now, or X, you can call it, and TikTok. So those are the three main platforms. Again, that's Over the Top Talk. Those will be down below as well. Um, but for you, Charles, I appreciate you coming on. You guys, all you fighters, help us make this podcast what it is. So one final thank you for coming on.
Hey, it was a pleasure. Good question. I like it. It was fun. And keep going, man. It's only going to grow, but you need to stick to it. You need to have a vision. You need to send more messages. Me, it's actually like I get plenty, but then when I see one and I'm like, maybe I'll answer to this guy. And you were one of these. So I'm glad. Let's hope it makes stuff move, but keep going. 2026 is the year of the brave, and I wish you the best.
Perfect. I appreciate that. And for everyone watching, I'll catch you all in the next one. Thank you, everybody.
Bing bang. Ciao, my man. It was fun.